PaRappa the Rapper is a very unique and colourful rhythm game. It came out in Japan in 1996, then Europe and North America in 1997, then eventually Australia in 2002. PaRappa, as you can see, is a dog, but he's not just any dog, he's a rapping dog. He has a crush on his friend Sunny Funny, and really the whole plot is all based on this. They have two other friends accompanying them, Catty Cat and PJ Berry, although I would describe PJ Berry as more of a mood than a character. The gameplay involves 6 stages which all follow the same dynamic. PaRappa will be with a so-called master, and the master will teach PaRappa a new skill. In the form of rapping, of course. The master will rap a line first, then the player will need to press the button shown at the top of the screen in the rhythm bar. Now, depending on how in tune the player is with just generally their sense of rhythm, keeping up with the master will either come intuitively or be a complete nightmare. This is indicated on the rating meter over here. Entering the button inputs correctly will earn PaRappa the rating good, whereas having the rapping equivalent of 2 left feet will earn the rating bad, then eventually awful. When the master has had enough and PaRappa reaches a point that's worse than awful, it's game over and the player will have to try again. Now, don't be discouraged if this happens or has happened to you. This game is incredibly tough. It's fast-paced and unforgiving, and the levels certainly require a good few goes before mastering them. Once the player has mastered a level, they can do what's called freestyling, which involves timing additional button inputs to make PaRappa repeat lyrics. Doing so correctly earns the rating cool. Once achieved, the master will go off stage, leaving PaRappa to freestyle until his heart's content. Well, if that's until the end of the song anyway. Over here, PaRappa has a score. Points are given when the player successfully presses a button in time with one of the 18 dots on the rhythm bar at the top of the screen. Points are deducted if a button is pressed when the cursor is between one of the dots, or if the player presses the wrong button entirely. So that's how the gameplay mechanics work, but how does PaRappa come across these various rapping masters? Well, it turns out that he's not just rapping with some randoms for the sake of it. There's a story that's involved between the 6 stages. Let's explore. The game begins with the end. PaRappa and his friends have just finished watching a movie called Jet Baby. They make their way to Chunky Burger to get some food, and it's here that we find out that PaRappa has a crush on Sunny. This prompts the start of part 1, I Need to Become a Hero. While PaRappa and his friends are eating, 2 bullies enter the restaurant, make fun of them, then ask Sunny if she wants to go for a walk with them. The group are in a really uncomfortable position, but like a bolt of lightning, Joe Chin comes bursting through the toilet door to the rescue. Joe Chin is PaRappa's rival because he also has a crush on Sunny. He's overly confident and pompous, and because of this, Sunny isn't really interested in him. Nevertheless, PaRappa's kind of intimidated by Joe Chin. Any attempt that Joe makes to impress Sunny leads PaRappa to believe that he needs to make the same sort of attempt if he wants to win Sunny over. In this case, Joe has come to their table to save them from a couple of bullies. Well, he's given them a very long speech about how amazing he is at least. This prompts the group to leave, all apart from PaRappa, who is fantasizing about what would happen if he was the hero. But how could he make this happen in real life?
Yeah, I know. I gotta believe!
The first stage is set in the Fruits Dojo, where Chop Chop Master Onion offers to show PaRappa a new set of skills. The stage consists of mainly punching, kicking, jumping and ducking. If PaRappa isn't rapping too well, Chop Chop Master Onion will fall lower and lower to the floor as he gradually loses the will to live. If PaRappa reaches a cool rating, Master Onion will fly kick the walls down, then sit in the background like a wise old sensei whilst PaRappa freestyles his way to victory. Once the song has finished, a cutscene plays showing that Joe Chin has knocked the bullies out by simply waffling on for so long about how amazing he is. Part 2 is called You Guys Sit in the Back and begins with PaRappa and his friends eating ice cream and talking about going to the beach. The only problem is that to get to the beach they need a car and of course a license. With that said, someone pulls up next to them in the Super Stretch Limo 900. Its top speed is this number, and it has leather panther seats. Who would drive such a cool car?
Hi.
Yes, of course. Joe offers to take the girls to the beach. Sonny says yes, but only if they can all come. He agrees, then tells the girls they can sit in the front with him and the boys can sit in the back. Before pulling away, Joe reverses and crashes the back of the car into a shop, which stuns PaRappa and PJ. Then, just to add insult to injury, they get a face full of fumes as the car pulls away. This makes PaRappa zone out again, but this time imagining how much he could impress Sonny if he had a car and a driving licence. This prompts the start of stage 2, and PaRappa is on his driving test with Instructor Mouselini. As the stage begins, the hood flies off, revealing the pedals and the steering wheel. This rap is mainly about stepping on the gas, stepping on the brake, and turning. If PaRappa gets a cool rating, the roof will fly off along with Mouselini, once again leaving him to freestyle. If he's on a bad rating, the car will swerve all over the place and the street signs will display yellow warnings. If it drops to awful, the music changes from G major to E minor, making it sound more depressing and sadder, plus the street signs turn red and have the word danger written on them. Once PaRappa has got his licence, part 3, My Dad's Gonna Bite Me starts. The cutscene begins showing PaRappa driving off in his dad's car while his dad chases him. He picks his friends up, then they all drive to the mountains. At one point, he drives off a cliff, but the car miraculously makes it undamaged. PaRappa then starts daydreaming about him and Sonny having a romantic drink far, far away, completely unaware that a big truck is heading in his direction. Eventually, the truck hits PaRappa's dad's car, launching it into space. As it lands back on the road, it completely falls apart, leaving PaRappa to wonder how he's going to get the money together and pay his dad back. Then it hits him.
Yeah, I know. I gotta believe.
Stage 3 is set in Prince Fleaswallow's flea market. PaRappa sells goods here along with Fleaswallow, whilst rapping of course to get some money together. One fun fact that's worth mentioning about this stage is that the rap here is the first in the game that actually rhymes. If PaRappa reaches cool status here, Prince Fleaswallow disappears into the ground to hibernate. If PaRappa's rapping is bad, the canopy will start to fall apart and the bass that was playing in the instrumental will stop. When awful is reached, a sombrero will fall onto PaRappa's head while the canopy falls apart even more. Once the song has been completed successfully, a cutscene plays showing that PaRappa has bought a new car. Part 4 is called Guaranteed to Catch Her Heart, and it's Sonny's birthday. The gang play rock, paper, scissors to decide who's doing what, and PaRappa is tasked with buying her birthday cake. He goes to the shop and buys, the cheaper cake out of the two and heads outside where he bumps into Joe Chin. Joe has also bought Sonny a cake, except Joe Chin being Joe Chin, it's mahoosive with 42 layers. As he walks away, he slaps PaRappa on the back, accidentally knocking him over, leaving him to land face first into his cake. PaRappa, almost out of money, wonders what he can do now to get Sonny a nice cake. He gets a brilliant idea and decides to bake a cake by watching Cheep Cheep the Cooking Chicken show. The cake that Cheep Cheep is showing PaRappa how to make is a seafood cake, and it's guaranteed to catch her heart. This stage is widely considered the toughest of the 6 because of the precision needed by the player to complete it. If PaRappa gets a cool rating here, Cheep Cheep turns the TV off and goes to rest while PaRappa freestyles. If his rapping is bad, she'll get angry and move over to his counter. Once the meter hits awful, she'll get really mad and turn red, then start jumping up and down. By the end, she's so cross that she lays an egg which hatches a chick who is also angry at PaRappa. When the stage has been properly completed, PaRappa finishes Sonny's cake, then goes to bed, proud of his efforts. Part 5 begins and it's called Full Tank. PaRappa and his friends are in the park and they're celebrating Sunny's birthday. Now, if you blink you might miss it, but in the background, Joe Chin can be seen carrying his cake before falling over. Catty grabs PJ and leaves PaRappa alone to chill with Sunny and watch the sunset. After a while, it occurs to PaRappa that he's overindulged and desperately needs to go to the toilet. His stomach cramps make him pull a face that Sunny mistakes for looking manly. On his way to dropping her off home, he decides that he can't hold it in for much longer and also needs to stop for fuel. He finds somewhere to stop, but unfortunately for him, there's a queue for the toilet. It turns out to be his 4 teachers in the queue, and they're also in desperate need to use it. They decide the best way to determine who can go first is to rap for it. PaRappa then takes each teacher on one by one before reaching the toilet. If his rap is bad or awful, the weather takes a turn for the worst and starts raining. It eventually turns into a thunderstorm if the rapping becomes awful. If PaRappa's rapping is cool, he'll be transported to a rainbow dimension where he'll chase a toilet along a track until the end of the song. After a sit-down wee or poo, whatever, he gets back in the car and to Sunny's disappointment, he's returned to his normal non-masked self. Part 6 is called I Gotta Believe and it's the final chapter. PaRappa has been invited to perform at Club Fun. He picks up Sunny from her house, which is a giant lemon because why not? Then after getting approval from her dad, they head to the club. When they arrive, they're greeted by Catty. PJ is also here, but he's on the decks DJing. PaRappa is invited onto the stage by King Kong Mushy and they both perform the final song together, which is called I Gotta Believe. As you can see, all of PaRappa's teachers are here. They provide the backing vocals for him. If PaRappa gets a bad rating, the lights go out and a spotlight is pointed at him. If it drops to awful, most of the crowd leave and the teachers providing the backing vocals go quiet except for Cheep Cheep and Fleaswallow. If PaRappa's rapping is cool, King Kong Mushy will leave the stage so PaRappa can perform his final freestyle. When the song finishes, the screen fades to black. We then see the group of friends go into the cinema again. As they sit down, the camera pans to the cinema screen with the end appearing, this time signifying the end of the game. Now, one thing that's not made clear at the end of the game is the answer to, did PaRappa do enough to win over Sunny? Well, although it's not explicitly shown, there are many suggestions that he did. Sunny showed signs that she was attracted to PaRappa when she thought he was being so-called manly or at least confident. In the final stage, PaRappa made his feelings clear about Sunny when he was rapping. This could be seen as a show of confidence that Sunny may have found attractive about PaRappa, leading to a happy ending for the pair. That's my opinion at least. Let me know what you think in the comments. It would be awesome to read others' thoughts on this. When the player finishes all 6 stages with a cool rating, they'll unlock a bonus stage called KT and the Sunny Funny Band. There's no rapping here, it's a stage that involves Sunny and Catty dancing. You can change their outfits and move the camera around, but that's about it. Many fans of the series consider this to be the origins of Milk Can, which is a band that features later in the series. So, this quirky little game developed by Sony's, well, B team, turned out to be quite a big deal in the end. Why was that? Well, PaRappa the Rapper revolutionised gaming with its groundbreaking rhythm-based gameplay and unforgettable paper-thin visual style. Through its infectious music and charming characters, it captured the hearts of gamers worldwide. So much so that it spawned a few sequels. It's one of the only PS1 games to be remastered for the PS4 and 5, and its influence even extended beyond gaming in the form of an anime series which was moderately popular in Japan. So, to conclude, PaRappa the Rapper wasn't just a game, it was a cultural phenomenon that will always hold a special place in gaming history. Thank you so much for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe if you want to see more big breakdowns. We've got many more game stories to cover. Thanks again, hopefully see you in the next video.